Vikings Nation. This just in. One of the biggest stories of the offseason is unfolding right now. And trust me, you'll want to stick around until the end because this could change everything for the Minnesota Vikings heading into 2025. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a game-changing update like this. Alright, let's get into it. The NFL is a league where standing still means falling behind. The Minnesota Vikings finished the 2024 season with an impressive 14-3 record, proving themselves as one of the league's most dominant teams. But here's the reality. If they don't keep evolving, they're moving backward. Despite opening last season with 5 straight wins, rebounding from back-to-back losses with 9 consecutive victories, and showing serious playoff potential, the Vikings have some major changes to make before the 2025 season kicks off in September. And the first and most shocking change? A new QB1 is happening. J.J. McCarthy is set to take over as the Vikings' starting quarterback. Drafted in the first round last year, he was always the future of the franchise. But after tearing his meniscus in his very first preseason game, McCarthy never got the chance to step on the field. That all changes now. But what about Sam Darnold? The veteran QB seized his moment, delivering a breakout season for the Vikings on a 1-year, $10 million contract. He was the unexpected hero. But the team is determined to stick to the original plan, giving McCarthy the reins in 2025. Here's where things get really interesting. Darnold's future with the team is hanging by a thread. If another team offers him $35 to $40 million per year to start elsewhere, the Vikings are out. But if they can bring him back for around $20 million, they might consider keeping him. Despite his success, his performance in the regular season finale against Detroit and the wild card loss to the Rams exposed some major flaws. And the biggest issue? The offensive line. The Vikings struggled to protect Darnold in those crucial games, and fixing the interior O-line is now a top priority. But here's a warning. The Vikings cannot afford to make the mistake of signing Tevin Jenkins from the Chicago Bears. Jenkins is a talented blocker, but he's been plagued by injuries since being drafted in 2021. Last season, he played 14 games, the most in his career so far, but his track record of missing time is a serious red flag. The Bears have already moved on, making aggressive moves in free agency to improve their O-line. If they don't believe in Jenkins, why should the Vikings? And speaking of players the Vikings need to avoid, there's Jordan Lewis, the 30-year-old cornerback from the Cowboys. Minnesota needs to improve its pass coverage, which has been a weak point for years. But Lewis is not the answer. Last season, he started 13 games for a Dallas defense that massively underperformed. With 71 tackles, 8 pass breakups, and just 1 interception, he's a decent player, but the Vikings need more than just decent. They need game changers. But let's end on a high note. The biggest reason the Vikings thrived last season? Brian Flores' defense. In just 1 year, he transformed a struggling unit into a top 5 scoring defense. And if the Vikings play their cards right, this defense could be even better in 2025. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think J.J. McCarthy is ready to take over as QB1? Should the Vikings bring back Sam Darnold? And who do you think they should target in free agency? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And before you go, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another Vikings update. 2025 is going to be a wild ride. Skol.